Hello, Greg.
I don't know why I've got Poddington P's theme tune in
I don't
my
know,
head.
but now you've got it stuck in my head too, because before I pressed record, you were singing it, weren't you? Anyway, on today's episode, Greg, we're talking about movie sequels that never happened.
What do you mean?
Well, we have touched on this subject before.
I've never touched anything, and I demand a lawyer.
That's another story. Anyway, movie sequels that didn't happen, Greg. They were supposed to happen, but didn't. Films. We say films, or we used to in this country. Now we say movies. Most people say movies, don't they?
Superman the film.
Yeah. But then
Wouldn't have worked.
you've got filmmakers who make movies. It's all very confusing, isn't it?
Very confusing.
Anyway, the first movie or film
movie.
we're talking about is Airplane.
Yeah.
I know
Love
what you're
it.
thinking. It had a sequel.
It did add a sequel.
Airplane 2.
Airplane 2, which was better than the first one.
However, Greg, there was supposed to be an Airplane 3.
Tell me more.
There was a short trailer or teaser for Airplane 3 after the credits of Airplane 2 with William Shatner.
What? It was made?
No, it wasn't made. They teased the fact that they were going to make it.
Oh, so it was on the... Huh?
After the credits of Airplane 2, William Shatner came on and made some little comment teaser about a third film coming. Now, if I can find it, I will. But
it might be on the DVD still.
it might be.
That would be amazing if we found that.
Anyway, it didn't happen for one major reason, and that was Robert Hayes, the star of the films, decided that he did not want to be typecast in those films. He did an interview with Movie Fun, and this is what he had to say. He said it was very close to happening. You have to understand the atmosphere. 31 years ago, sequels were frowned upon. You were really looked down upon if you did sequels as an actor, and it was thought that was all that you could do.
That's why Christopher Reeve didn't want to do Superman 4, because he said he didn't want to be typecast.
They'd go, "Oh, Robert Airplane Hayes, you ever going to do something besides Airplane?" I was doing other films, it's just that was the attitude that they took. Nowadays...
Name me one film that he was in apart from Airplane.
I can't.
Well, then he was typecast.
Nowadays, sequels are called franchises, and everybody does them. He went on to say, I was in London doing a film called Scandalous at the time.
Scandalous.
That's another film he was in. And they were negotiating for doing Airplane 3, and it had really gotten to me. I was being ragged on by the press a lot when I go to events and the paparazzi's there, and they would rag on me. I said, nah, don't want to do it. Of course, all that did raise the price more and more and more. When finally I said, I'm going to do it. That was it. They didn't do it.
So when he agreed, they
said
didn't
they
do
weren't
it.
doing it.
So he got ragged and ragged and ragged, and he finally got ragged off.
When the money went up enough, he said, yes, I'll do it. And then they said, nah, not going to do it.
He must have really demanded some big money then.
He said at the end of that interview, of course, I wish we had done it looking back now, but that was then and this is now. I think that's a case of him being a bit too big for his boots.
Well, I actually believe that it could have been done without him. There was other funnier people in it.
Like you said, he never really went on to do anything else, so he may as well have just done it. Took money. I mean, they could be on Airplane 72 now, couldn't they?
Like now
So it kept
100.
going. Yeah, I know. Can you believe that?
We should have done an episode about that.
Oh, we will.
Will
If
we?
you don't know what we're talking about the compilation albums now.
Meow.
Meow.
It's
Meow,
like a cat album.
Now.
Now that's what I call music, is on 100. That's amazing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
How have we gone from that to there?
Now, you love airplane movies, don't you?
I do.
Movies.
Movies.
I'm not such a big fan, but there are some very funny scenes in it. Like, which one is it where they do the over?
Oh, over.
Yeah.
Captain, that's 2.
And which is the one with the lift, where they fart in the lift?
You mean that sequel to Airplane 2 called Pink Panther?
Oh yeah, that was Pink Panther, wasn't it? Anyway, if I can find the little clip of William Shatner after the Airplane 2 credits, I'll put it in now.
If not, let's put a Pink Panther farting lift clip in. Because that'll make sense, won't it? Now, as we sit here, I don't know what clip's just been put on.
No, you don't.
So it could have been the massively anticipated Airplane 3 trailer sequel thingy that no one's ever seen, or it could have just been a fart in a lift.
It could have been either way.
It's a winner, isn't it?
It's a winner. Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner.
And it'll be flagged anyway, so...
Who gives a flag?
Greg, we're talking now. Mac and Me.
Yeah, I'd forgot about this film until recently.
It is one of those films that you go, oh yeah, I remember that.
I'm not quite as high as that, though. I just go, oh yeah, I remember that.
I loved it when I was a kid. Thought it was great. I've watched it recently and it is really bad.
It was just too close to E.T.,
It
wasn't
was a blatant E.T. rip-off, and all of the critics at the time said that was its downfall. It tried to rip off E.T., but obviously didn't do it anywhere near as well as E.T. It got panned at the box office. It had a 0% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics at the time absolutely panned it. I don't know what there was to like about it, but I liked it.
I think it was just another... when you're younger, you don't care about reviews and things, do you? It was just another, if you like, magical movie, wasn't it?
It had a budget of only $13 million, and they were so sure that it was going to be a hit, they'd already planned the sequel. And at the end of the film, there's a sequence where they're in a pink Cadillac, I think, and it says, "We'll be back."
So in actual fact, Terminator ripped off their logo. That's terrible, isn't it?
We'll be back. However, it only went on to make $6.4 million.
Whatever.
Yeah. Box office. I'm sure it's made a bit more on as a cult movie on...
Yeah, but is it though? You know, like, Back to the Future's always been one of them things that was big at the time and then even bigger afterwards. That's not really been mentioned ever, has it? I mean, we only spoke about it a few weeks ago and both went, oh, forgot about that.
I think it's probably a little bit of a cult thing because Paul Rudd, what's his name? He has that running joke with Conan O'Brien that we talked about where he plays a clip of it every time he goes on.
Oh, yeah, he does, yeah.
So I think he's probably picked up a little bit of a cult following, but not much. Anyway, they were that sure that it was going to be brilliant that they planned the sequel. And the tragic thing is that the McDonald's Children's Charity was supposed to benefit from the profits of the sequel. So it never happened, and they didn't get any money from it. So
because of Big Mac?
I'm guessing so. Wasn't there a scene in the film where they went to McDonald's?
Perhaps that's what the sequel would have been called, Big Mac and Me. Or perhaps it was going to be called Big Mac and Fries.
It says here, that's why he's called Mac. He's now named Mac, mysterious alien creature. I don't know. Something to do with McDonald's.
The sequel, the third one, could have been Big Mac, Fries and Milkshake, please. If
you've got 99 minutes of your life that you'd like to give up, why not watch Mac and Me?
And then they could have done the fourth one, the fillet of fish, please. Completely different alien, you see. And they'd called him Fish, Fillet.
So before we talk about the one that we're going to talk about, we have an honourable mention that we thought they were going to make a sequel of when we were kids and they never did. What is it, Greg?
We just found this video and we both thought about it, didn't we?
Turner and Hooch. The mistake they made was killing the dog. Spoilers.
How could they do it?
They brought the puppies back and they thought that would be alright. But no, they killed Hooch and that was it for most people.
I've got goosebumps now thinking about that bit.
I remember it was on TV not so long ago and my daughter cried her eyes out.
I don't think it should be allowed. It's awful. I mean, it's such a good film and then they ruin it by killing the thing. So they couldn't have done... I mean, they may have... Well, I was just saying, would they have ever done one to this?
I think they planned a sequel with the puppies coming on at the end, maybe, but people were just distraught that they killed the dog, and that was it. End of Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Pups.
Anyway, yeah, you put that back. The one we're talking about last, Greg.
It's a shame they didn't do more police academies, isn't it? The sequels.
Seen one, you've seen them all.
7?
I like the first one, maybe the second.
I like them all. The only one I don't like is the 7th one,
They
Mission
are
to Moscow.
Really formulaic, though, aren't they? Like I said, if you've seen one, you kind of know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but they are brilliant. But 7 is just, there's like, they're down to the bare bones of the cast now. There's like 3 left, and that's it. It's terrible. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, the one we're going to talk about, it's easy for me to say, is one that we have talked about before, but some new information has come to light about it, so we're going to talk about it again. One of the biggest flops of the 80s, although I loved it, and it is behind you on the shelf, Greg, if you'd like to get it out.
What?
The video.
Oh, is it this one here?
Yes, Masters of the Universe. This was supposed to be the biggest movie ever. The only problem is...
It's absolutely shocking.
It's got that little logo on it there. That's the problem.
I can't see it, it's reflecting.
Oh. Canon.
Canon.
I love Canon movie studios. Got a little place in my heart. They made a couple of good films, but mostly made poor films that actually really still remind me of the 80s. The Masters of the Universe toy line was the biggest thing going in the 80s, wasn't it?
Sorry to interrupt. What was the film that they put all their money into, which means every other film below it lost money?
This one.
It was that one then? Right. So Superman 4 suffered because of this film?
Yes, it did, yeah. This was going to be massive. It wasn't. It suffered from budget problems, script problems, actor problems. Dolph Lundgren at the time found it very difficult to drop his accent. They were going to dub his voice at one point, but didn't. Which it doesn't offend me. I think it's all right.
Why would you though, as the owners of this company, put more money into something that is untested than something like Superman 4, which is guaranteed to bring people in?
Because the toy line was massive, wasn't it? And Mattel put a lot of the money up for this.
It's not He-Man though, is it?
That's another mistake they made. Should have called it He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. But whilst this was in production, the toy line sales started to drop. So Mattel got a bit nervous and didn't want to put up any more money for it. Canon was supposed to put up the other half, had used that money that they were going to put up on Superman 4. So it got to the end of this film. Everyone had walked off the set. Filming had been shut down by Gollum and Globus, the people who owned Canon. If it wasn't for the director trying to make the ending, because they've got everything except the ending. That's why the end of this film looks so pants. It's basically them in a black room, isn't it, fighting.
I might have made this up, but I'm sure it was on the set. They used the set for Superman or something.
No, there is a set story.
Oh, is there?
But what happened at the end...
What happened what?
They still planned a sequel. They thought, at the time, they thought this was going to be a hit at the cinema. So Skeletor goes down into the whatever it is.
It's like acid, isn't it?
Yeah. And then after is it pre-credits or just before the credits, he pops his head up, doesn't he? And says,
laughs.
I'll be back, or laughs, or something like that.
Another one says, I'll be back.
I don't know if he does, I might have made that up. There was another film Canon were making called Cyborg. The set that was supposed to be for the sequel of this became the set for Cyborg.
Oh, right, I knew
because
there's
this
something.
didn't get made. That's the set thing that you're thinking about.
Right.
However, the interesting thing that I didn't know, that I now know about this, Greg, is that Canon had this ability of buying the rights to major franchises, didn't they? Like this, Superman. The time this was being made, they acquired the rights to Spider-Man.
What?
And they wanted to make a Spider-Man movie.
Oh my god, they would have literally ruined every superhero movie.
And we wouldn't have Spider-Man as we know it today, I'm sure, if this had have happened. However, because this didn't do well at the box office at all, they couldn't afford to make Spider-Man.
So what you're saying is, this film
Saved Spider-Man.
saved Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
And this film is not as bad as it gets made out to be. I love it still, but that might be a nostalgia, looking at it through nostalgia colour.
I think it is bad, and I think that is one of the problems.
Gwildor. Why didn't you just use Orko?
It was Orko in all the cartoons, and they replaced it with this
But
thing.
it would have been too expensive to make a flying Orko. And at the time, computer graphics weren't widely used.
Don't get me wrong, we've spoken about this a million times on this show. It's terrible, but because it's one of them things, like I said earlier, you watch when you were growing up, you didn't care, and the sticker album was brilliant.
Yeah.
The poster is still one of the best posters.
Well, it was a Drew Struzan one, wasn't it? They just looked brilliant.
That was great. So
They are remaking it. Well, not remaking that, but they're making a movie of Masters of the Universe. It's been going on for a long time now in talks. Different directors and people have been associated with it, but it is still on the cards to be made. So we'll see what happens.
Still worries me though, because I think with CGI now you can ruin everything.
Yeah, you can.
So
So we have talked about Masters of the Universe before, but we didn't know about the Spider-Man thing before, so we've included that in today's video. And if you haven't seen the other video, then you didn't know any of that. You do now.
what he said.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be back.
Just give up with the pretense, Greg. Get rid of the card. It's never going to be on the card. It's on your phone.
It's not on my phone.
We could just get rid of this section altogether.
Why don't we just get rid of you? Sorry, Jason. I'll tell you what, I'll cheer you up, shall I? So you know last week, Jason, I had a problem with elevators.
Lifts.
Lifts. Well, a couple of years before that, Jason, I used to have a fear of hurdles. But I got over it. So, if you think about it, right, what you do is you run.
All fruits made to make your mouth water. Fresh with a tang of citrus. More natural root flavors.
There's strawberry.
Made to make your mouth water.
There's lime
Made to make your mouth water.
There's orange.
and lemon too.
On a tingle with taste, so refreshing to chew. All fruits made to make your mouth water.
They're here. Heinz Invaders. Spaghetti space shapes in tomato sauce. Heinz Invaders. A force to be reckoned with.
Facts for you.
Okay, on this section this week, I've got one.
What's the section called?
The one that you've just said.
Facts for you.
Yes. A small child could swim through the veins of a blue whale.
Well, that's amazing.
If you consider how large a blue whale's heart is on
Facts for you.
it's the size of a small car. So it's no surprise that a small child around 3 to 4 years old could swim through the massive veins of a blue whale.
Wow.
That takes Pinocchio to a whole new level, doesn't it?
So it'd be like going down one of them water slides.
Yeah, like a tube slide. I mean, that really is a great fact here on.
Facts for you.
The world's longest burning light bulb, Greg, hangs from the ceiling of a fire station in Livermore, California. The Centennial light bulb has burned almost non-stop since 1901 and now has its own webcam. Other than power outages, it's only been turned off once for 22 minutes in 1976. They don't make light bulbs like that anymore, do they? You get them from the supermarket now, they pop within a few weeks.
Yeah, but where do you get them from? Townland?
Supermarket. Yeah.
Well, what do you expect? That's got to be the most boring fact I've ever
It's
heard.
brilliant, I love it. I'm going to see if I can find the webcam.
What, are you going to sit there and watch it, are you?
No, I'm going to put it in.
Put one in?
The clip of the webcam.
Oh, right.
That was facts for you.
Facts for you.
We'll be back when we're back with tea and toast.
Yeah, because clearly this isn't on a Saturday again, is it?
No,
I mean,
because we're filming it on Saturday.
you've got more time now than ever, Jason, to do this,
I
and
haven't.
you're not actually doing it,
I
are you?
haven't because the kids are on holiday, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, we will be doing more soon, we
Yeah,
promise.
when the kids go back to school.
What, September?
It's only 4 weeks away, 5 weeks away, Greg. It's ridiculous.
Not in my day.
Goodbye.